Lasso, any that ring at you, any chamala, that he delays, shopper delay sugar. That ring. Good morning, everyone. From here in California. That ring at you, shooting the teacher remote that you know, and I'm going to shoot a new young shit. Or the cinema doggings.
So greetings to everyone. We have a bit more material to cover today, so I'll try to keep my preliminary short.
Any contact ya Tama get a Kunung Yabu Tony choosing at the kitchen bodies, the Kunung Samba Zambu Tony, or the China Hosi.
So everyone, please set a good motivation, a pure motivation, one of compassion, altruism.
Lasso. The Samsanje Tam Jje Ovo Yere Dan Jankor Jamsu Chabda, Cutting Somba me pe Pangon, Chin Lama Dambe Shepje, Trama me Bala, go up the Kubesan, Saye Japsen Jo. Jusenja la bonanze de so inje jimbo zu de nime de zene molam jimbo ngabja da pe ka danga ji de seme do tun ba tu je jin lang gu san sa ning dao jin bin pa ye li man de lo de jin bi ju gen de ni ze zhe ba jin bi zhen de zhe yang de lo za jin bi xiao la so ruan de Nimde Jimbe, Koda Tene, Kapje Jimbe Lama Nibaranze, Zundu Jimbe, Tripe Jansin, Arepa Jimbe, Shabla Sorwa, and Tiba Jimbe, and Choyon Se, Saja Jimbe, Dobang, the Jer, Chile Jimbon, Kadanyam Brother, Ningum Jimbe, Shabla Sorwa, and Patin Dojin Chaware Kunchabda Lama, Kama, Jankor Kunjan Jones, Ponjoya Danam Jurma. Tile Kunja Sipo, Wanja Chujong Beje, Jamda La, Namjur Seche, Gebe, the Dona Me, Tuje, Chong, Tony Hinji, Sundun Jubela, Chicha Sanze, Ganji, Dungo, Sana Be Modin Jinjam Sola, so and the so sin la with so, but in Zavala Marumbo, Dakachi, what be made in Yola. Gatin Jimbu Gone Gibson de Goson to Jen with the so Yonde Sanje Kondanyam Nayang Gatin Sanje Kone Labango Savella me Shavla so and the Dasondo Lona Jus Gada Sochi Tongue Jitina the Shomra Jibakan Soda Tendertin Bechu Jen Beach Simprende Batam Jen de She Majun Ruan Namkun Tada Nyambe Simchi Tamchi Sije Dohan Tada Ledrate Namdu Tinja Deva Lana Me Bayanda Bazo Basanji Jako Marumbochi Nichineja Toprasa Tati Chide Tambechu Samon Dini Tuji the Sine Nyamsa Lambar Gio Nyambagone Sinchar.
O benevolent root guru, who is in essence all Buddhas of the past, present, and future, with great devotion I prostrate to you and go for refuge to you with my body, speech, and mind. Please grant your blessings to be cared for by you inseparably in this lifetime and all of my future lives. Clean ground of pure ethical discipline, beautified by mountains of unfathomable samadhi, illuminating all things with wisdom light of the sun and moon, Supreme Buddha who accomplishes the welfare of all, please bestow virtue and goodness. Your mandala expanding throughout space in knowledge of all things, beautiful thousandfold light striking the lands of trainees, fully illuminating all of Buddha's teachings in their entirety. With devotion I prostrate to the great jewel of the Kagyu. O glorious and precious root guru, please take seat of lotus at my heart. Caring for me in your great kindness, please grant attainments of body, speech, and mind, equal to all Buddhas in qualities of realization, yet surpassing all Buddhas in kindness to me. I pray at the feet of my root guru, O protector. please turn the minds of myself and all beings towards the Dharma. All you have become disciples of the Sugata's, those gone to bliss, throughout the billions of worlds of the 10 directions. All of you who wish to hear the Dharma raining down here and now, may you come here. Namo, in languages of devas, nagas, and yakshas, languages of kumbhandas and human beings, and the sounds of whatever beings exist. In every language I shall teach the Dharma. Please listen well with the motivation of bodhicitta, thinking all mother sentient beings equal to the extent of space must by all means attain unexcelled, eternal bliss of perfect, complete Buddhahood. To accomplish this, I shall listen carefully, without distraction, to the Mahayana teachings being given here and put them into practice.
Lasso, Tatela Gangi Simber Sawata, Je Gampopa, and Zejajuk, and Lamchorin Chinchua. That they meant to do the cinema shuaris.
So for our main subject, we'll continue on with our instructions on Precious Garland of the Supreme Path by the incomparable Gampopa.
Tatela Machu shoot the Majula Hona, Sosu Mune Chubajas way at the Chimbori. Sosu Mune. 공동 세다디 바지 주야데 개침보리 시든데 두잔에 예단지 침복해 슈특바 침보인베 초 저거 말이 슈특바 침보인베 짱그 초고 말이 아니 가사라니 특바 침보 소수조고리 있어 어떤데 소유.
In order to listen to teachings, we need to be the Dharma practitioner ourselves. As Je Tsongkhapa said, it's not enough for the teaching itself to be of the Mahayana. The person himself needs to be of the Mahayana. The practitioner needs to be of the Mahayana.
어떤데 두잔에 지땅가랑 주셔야 돼. 심주주 당와 심주주 당지 그 탑람 라는미바 ngaranchu thikpa chimbinani shedu chane teya thangka tingkati parangkati parasangkati bodhi soha siya tik lamji demba telani ta tambe chu yuza lamji demba telani tambe chu sikayori.
So Dharma itself is a means of transforming the mind. In the context of the Mahayana, it's along the lines of the paths symbolized in the mantra of the Heart Sutra, Tayata Gate Gate, Paragate, Parasamgate, Bodhisoha. So it's this true path, true paths that we are to practice for this transformation.
Tintindu chane, ta tindisene ngarang chu yuchu tangne, ta yesimji korwa dunghalne, yesimji ne, Deva Sanji ka parda, and then this is down two good essay, Tawatawaina, that indeed two good is. Around to the tiny community Tawaina, Sung Seata, J Seati Tsinide, Sung Seate Panza, J Seate Katoza, Pando Nik, Lamji Dimble, Lamdela, Tine, and Churangla, Tangopa de Basina and that Topa, Topa Yonti, Jata Bangasola, Gia Yuris.
So can sentient beings be the cause of Buddhas? Can sentient beings attain the state of Buddhahood? Most definitely they can, as represented in the Tibetan word for Buddha, which is Sangye. The first part, Sang, means to clear away all that is faulty, limited, all that is to be abandoned, is cleared away, purified. And then the second syllable, Gye, means all that is good has been expanded and realized. So this is completely possible for sentient beings to purify themselves and expand their good qualities, just like the Buddhas have done. Sangye, Sangde, Pangja,
Yeah, yeah.
Gede, Pujara.
강다장 가랑주 든지게 토니 빼난 데버 산지당 데버 산지당 산축선바 남당 다 디스콜은 마트가 있나요 다당아지 그 간지기 용게 방케바다 들어와 라마 망보지게 남타서 로지당 디스를 때대와 이나 아니 간지세네 빼네 집좀 마발로자다 만매 딱섬다지라 삼로 당와 이나 당부 만매 딱섬때 뭐 간지지르야 집좀 Milarepa 세야데 뭐빼 마스 만 trouble 멍님바 뭐 정보 이제 핑크 소니 아니 마발로자 빼디나지 마발로자데 빼나 부그 수포세난다 부그 빼 독야된리도와 파게 어따데 니마치글라 마치가 센도 그리 싱어빠데 코펜 추파 차원 추파라 가워요리 텔레게 코 야라 땅 야와이나 아니 코란 니마치는 유란다치 탭시그리시 아니 파이 칼라마니 마이 칼라마니와 던지그 메제데 람 담베 추가 람라 띠네 데베 산지 그 파르데 아니 주주 땅 소와지 땅 같이 남타다 로지다 어떻게 나다 망보지 차대요리시
And we need not look to the stories of ancient Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. We can look to stories of many beings in Tibet, in particular, say, Marpa, Milarepa, Gampopa. Milarepa himself was very accomplished a lot of harmful deeds prior to entering the Dharma. Was very clever at worldly achievements and create a lot of negative karma before entering the Dharma. But then, through the path of Dharma, attained full enlightenment. It was the same with Marpa. His parents despaired of him. He was kind of a naughty child, get into fights. They thought maybe they send him to India. He would be something good. He would have some kind of good transformations, and he obviously did. So in the examples of these beings, we can see that they were really harmful or negative beings in the earlier part of their life, but they were able to achieve this transformation through the practice of Dharma.
어디든지 자네 추세야 돼. 오늘 냠린세네. 냠린세는 오늘 냠린세와 있나 띵띵 레베 던지요와. 자자자 한번 레베 던지요와 던데 치리듯이 하지.
So if we really practice the Dharma, it's 100% guaranteed that we can be transformed through it.
띵성 뭐도 속에 아니 다 가르쳐 그렇지 내가 충충질라 침보라 삼로도 코네. 이긴 코르 속을 내가 아니 이긴 코르 속을 내가 던데 충충질란 침보라 삼로 땅네. 아니 된다 침보대. 내 침보 개 침보 짜 침보대. 아니 아주 라로리게 다 던데 지금 아주 삼당을 던데 진 통근도 없이 던데 짠네 내 치야데 가래린도 없이도 짠 나랑도 참말에 대치 고요리 대치 시야데 내가 그 대화 참 말이 다도 그 대화 고요리 아니 디 대치 그람 다 톱자 그람 찍부대 아니 담배 추고 소라 어텔레 유대와 던데 지리듯이야시
The beings are distracted by superficial, small things on the side of samsara, which they put tremendous amount of effort into. But in doing that, they lose the thread of what is most important. What is most important? It's happiness, attaining true happiness. But when we think about happiness, there is temporary happiness and there's ultimate happiness. And for that ultimate lasting or sustainable happiness, the only sustainable happiness is the path of Dharma, which is the unexcelled means to achieving that.
라소 어다데 너르지 시다 드랭아 추 주친이 십자록바 주친이 십자록바 다디그나니 마 라기인시 담배 추지
So
여기 껴서야
to the 20s. coming to the 26th set, 10 Qualities of Genuine Dharma. I'll now read that section.
라소 다 담배 취지 연진 쥐네 취게와 쥐당 파르드 심바 보당 동반이 탐체당 산주지 소지 취 남당 법은 된바 이제당 삼대 이제당 좀메 년발 적바 이제당 ngaje mindro la supa nam tin tin yowane 담배 취지 연데 예나 메나네 자렉 체신 도와다 담지렉 체신 도와다 심다거렉 체신 도와다 야티 예라 수pa 뇌 감제 la rek tong tang zu kan je la rek chup den dang zo me ba la rek ye ji tin ne jo wa tam be chu je yon de yen no yun de shu ba da lin je se ro wa da se mo wa da ra chong ba da rang sang je da na ba tam je ji be sang je ji tin de song xin jo wa ne tam be chu je yon de yen no sim ji da mo lam je to ji tu ji ran sha je zu ge ni ji ji si ko wa ma dong ge ba de sim jin je de sun de den jo wa ne tam be chu je yon de yen no 심진 예완 초보 요새 강락 강의반 부송 초보 탐지에는 산축 선바 남지 모남제 dobble 쇼에 담배 취지 용데 예노 니송당 뭐콘버 내나양 내갑제 대와 중세 요바 대다 탐지 장 가보 개베 소나를 주베나 담배 취지 용데 예노 기본 인바 다장 담배 취소 논전네 기본 담배 렉스 내신 먹군지 쪽도 그러면 내서 줘봐네 담배 취지 용데 예노 ngāri dikwa mage wala bāmi de jejin nyāwe bishing ke yoso ba deyang dambi chūjī soso lōnan jo ne thori da tarpa dewa la rikwan jo wa ne dambi chūjī yon de yino dambi chūla deba tsa mam, miba tsa mam, gawa tsa mam, chalong jimba tsa yang kunji yido ongshi nigir ji nesu jo ba ne dambi chūjī yon de yino 도봉을 보 탐지 빵네 침미 바랍도 송신 그 공바를 예브네 대장 소바 요새 포송 소반 요한네 남배 취지용된 예노 내내 남배 취지용된 더드베 취지용이노
These are the 10 qualities of genuine Dharma. The arising in the world of the 10 virtues, the 6 perfections, all emptinesses, the factors of awakening, the 4 noble truths, the 4 dhyanas, the 4 formless absorptions, the ripening and liberating aspects of mantra, and so forth, is the quality of genuine Dharma. The arising in the world of august lineages of human monarchs, august lineages of Brahmins, august lineages of householders, the 6 types of gods of the desire realm, such as the 4 great kings, the 17 types of gods of the form realm, and the 4 types of formless gods are qualities of genuine Dharma. The presence and arising in the world of stream enterers, once returners, non-returners, arhats, pratyekya Buddhas, and utterly omniscient Buddhas is a quality of genuine Dharma. The arising of spontaneous benefit of sentient beings by the 2 form bodies, self-arisen compassion, until samsara is emptied due to the power of bodhicitta and aspirations, is a quality of genuine Dharma. Since all excellent means of sustaining sentient beings are appropriately arise through the power of the aspirations of bodhisattvas, these are qualities of genuine Dharma. Since the slight brief happiness that is experienced in lower migrations and unrestful states is due to the merit of virtuous actions, this is a quality of genuine Dharma. When a bad person's mind turns to genuine Dharma, and he or she becomes a holy person respected by everyone, this is a quality of genuine Dharma. When someone who, by carelessly engaging in wrongdoing, has amassed the causes to become fuel for the fires of hell, turns his or her mind to genuine Dharma, and achieves the happiness of higher states and liberation, this is a quality of genuine Dharma. The delight and respect that all feel for someone who merely has faith in genuine Dharma, or interest in it, or liking for it, or merely retains the costume of it, is a quality of genuine Dharma. The arising of abundant means of sustenance for those who abandon all possessions, leaving home, becoming homeless, and hide away in isolated hermitages, is a quality of genuine Dharma. Those are 10 summaries of the qualities of genuine Dharma.
라소 단데이나니 담배 취기용 띵시야데 답배 망보 다들 망보 토니 다들 수고도와 취기용 띵
There's a lot of examples and meanings to what constitutes genuine Dharma here.
다 당부들라 추기와지당 파르드 심바 똑당 동반이 탐치당 산주주 소주 추남당 파버된바 이제 something 이제 좀에 반영 봐줘 봐 이제 하지 민도라서 반지 뒤도 소환에 담배 추고 용된지 있어 나 담배 추고 용된지라 근데 담배 추 코랑해야리 단디나니 추근 레베직당 추 코랑당 다 냠드든데 되지시는 용어도 와 담배 추를 때는 레베 용화직다 추고 용된 담배 추 고랑시에 되잖아요. 추 고랑데나니 덴바이젤라서 받아 저 거송고도 와.
So here we have a number of examples of what are actual Dharma, qualified Dharma realizations, and then the results that can come from them.
올라서. 아니 다텔라 내 가장 출랑라 추튼 예로바가 신토지 인지토라 말다티 보여톨 땅요 바데 출랑 조샤서 다데니 마 라와이나니 아니 아니 깔레 추마도 내 담보 가장 추튼 디난 그 추튼데라 담부난 그 추튼데 대선 차보라지도 와 당가야 망보라지도 대거등에 千百几只药的马就拉อยู่ไปแต่ว่า不会讨了嘛拉就对你都不先讨给我觉呢没给我觉那就说咱们得了老师给我得了老师就说去了给我就是没的没给我觉呢你就忘记顺说节吧马上把老吧老严是吧我给忘记也人他妈这种我家的 예지왕기 숨 납세 눈세 lok다지 다되게 먹게와 쥐 게와 쥐는 저 천느 빼나 소지바 빵네 심지 등로서 소르시바 마진레림바 빵네 인레 지바도와 로옌 빵네 김hin지 돈바송아 라 소바다보 라 소세야 낭더니 아니 그 짐바 처좀 쥐바 쥐는 something 차마데다 디나네 로고요 어디지 아니 파신 쪽네 짐바 수춤 즈바 쭌르 something 시랍지 죠 다 내나니 파신 쪽시네 마도 요 말아와 내 장가들 레지는 마 장네티나 고데치 된데세 아니 덴바지데 동하르지 덴바 운종그 덴바 고버 덴바 남제 덴바 요 아니 요거든요 something just something 이제 드페 대와래 첩바방와 등은지 something 당보 또바다 쥐바방와 something 니바 또바 타웨 또바 타와 추요와다 생각을 등인지 방와 something 심바 소라 대와다 동할탑 타다 방 땅ኞ를 내반에 something 이바오시 아니 요거는 줌이 이제네 남한 타의 김치 남신 타의 김치 지양미배 김치 누시 미미지 김치지요 따땡엔 디나나 코랑게 책대 when 덴바 예시한다 something 예시한다 뭐 뭐지 갈래 something 예시나 가래나 가리제나 시당가데 파신 쪽세야 돼 뭐지가 파신 쪽세야 돼 정도 당가데 가래나 삼상 요로 어다데 드시는 마시 보세네 지야 요시 어데 줘
So since there's a lot of lists here and mentioning of numbers of things, I thought that might not be very familiar to some. So I wanted to list what some of these were. So I think it'd be beneficial to start off with some notes that I wrote about this. The 10 virtues are not just abstaining from the 10 non-virtues. The 10 virtues are not just abstaining from the 10 non-virtues. The 10 virtues are the 10 non-virtues are 3 of body, killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct, 4 of speech, lying, slander, harsh words, and idle gossip, and 3 of mind, covetousness, malice, and promoting mistaken views. Examples of the way these are transformed into virtue are abandoning, killing, and saving the lives of living beings, such as animals. Abandoning taking what is not given, and practicing generosity towards beings. Abandoning sexual misconduct and protecting vows such as those of pradamoksha, individual liberation. And the 6 perfections are generosity, morality, patience, perseverance, concentration, and wisdom. The four noble truths are true suffering, true causes of suffering, true cessations, and true paths. The four concentrations are: the first concentration is samadhi, which abandons attachment to pleasures of the desire realm. Second concentration is samadhi, which abandons concepts and analysis. Third concentration is samadhi, which abandons mental joy such as movement of the 10 subtle concepts. And fourth concentration is samadhi, which abides in equanimity, having abandoned all feelings of happiness and suffering. And the four types of the formless realm are faculties of limitless space, faculties of limitless consciousness, faculties of nothing at all, and faculties of no perception.
Hola so. Ta teke di tambo teke dishe da segora ta tinane te she. Ini yugutene mara. Nga tam hindro la so pa nam yitin de so wan tambe chuji yong den ye no song cha. Ta nga se ya den di nani ngarang ju ta ta dubju ka nga sanga ringa zunga sine. Ta ngarang ju dub de ya ka nga. Oti kola sikiyuri. Nga tam hindro la so pa. Ini min se ya de ko wang na ya, dor se ya de ko ni tri she ba. Ini rang ngu ne ini ta sanga ta ringa ta zunga ta la so pa de ko ne. Ngari namba nga ta ngari namba ye la so pa de ko to ne. Ini nyam ni che da din ba ji nang. Ini min dor se ya de ko min se ya de ko lam de ne wang nang. Lam de ne tri na ya de la min se ya de ko min zi ko wang dor zi ko tri. Min dor se ya de ko min se ya de ko ye dang ko wang na ya de la min se ko yuri. Dor se ya de ko ini de ke ta lo ju se na da de ko pin ta tin de she se ne. Dor zi ko tri. Rang ngu de yin ba yin na nga ka nyam ni se. Ini lama yin la ti ne wang shu dang wa shu la so ba. Ta de ji so wa de ya ta be chu ko yo de ji. Ta tama de le de do wa.
And then there's the last one mentioned in the first set, the ripening and liberating aspects of mantra. We say mantra here, it refers to the tantric practices that we do and the different kinds of mantra which are recited, wisdom mantras, recited mantras, mentally recited mantras, and so on. And then the qualities of ripening and liberating, which are attained through those practices. Ripening particularly refers to receiving the empowerments, the initiations of the deities. Liberating is referred to in connection with the commentaries that are given. That when the Lama gives explanation and the disciple practices it, and this leads to the actual liberating of the mind and the person. So this is the last point here that's explained, that's mentioned.
Ta digi nang dini yanchar something yes ya de ke something tambo something niba something sumba ta pa ke se ya wa ina something yiba si ta ta ngarang chu pe ne shine da che gom ne de si ni kapsu any sim la gawa tang dewa tang topa tang chu ba la su pa de be yi de pang ne sim de be tor sim bi shine ke 시내랑 시에게 요리 시내게 다 똑반 토른 로와 다 델리 디나는 시에게 요리 something 있어야 돼.
The mention of the four concentrations are states of samadhi, meditative absorption, that are attained through our practice of calm abiding, of shamatha, as we develop towards a completely concentrated, facilitated state of mind. Then our mind passes through these four states of concentration to higher and higher levels, abandoning grosser levels, attaining to more refined, more peaceful, more subtle levels of samadhi or concentration as we develop in these levels of concentration through that practice.
라서 다 니바데게 메인나네 자치릭 메인나네 자릭 체킹 토와다 담지릭 체킹 토와다 침다릭 체킹 토와다 네 거때 답변나 야게 당연히 벽에 상하게 추시나 벽에 추 용서 좀 받아 야니 마 용도 있잖아요. 야근 고욕당 참산을 양 야근 내당은 드라이 주듯이 근데 지금 참산을 용되게 요리 되나니 bên giá là rất nó bây giờ sẽ chỉ đó giờ rất sẽ tăng đáng sẽ cái rất sẽ tăng chim đã cái rất sẽ tăng mong cái rất sẽ tăng giờ đó tăng ở chỗ bây là đi thanh nhẹ được yêu mà chỉ tăng đến rồi chỉ cái orang rồi tăng đến chỉ chỉ qua cha được mà đó giờ rất đáng sẽ rất chim đã được mà rất sẽ tăng được yêu mà bây là thì này tăng đi rồi tăng đã đấy bên là rất cái này giờ rất tăng đáng sẽ cái rất tăng 침다 거래 침다신의 주 침보다 노르다 롱주 침보 유지도 소콜라 세기요라 뜻을 거때 뜻이 내전 토아 야가 있잖니 근데 지 소화인의 뒤 루틴데라 아니 담배 추들리고 고갑 담배 추들리고 튼지 차지 야요와 야라 뜻이게요라 어디에다 지 추근 제베스야나 근데 송거사리 아니 자치 이절라서 봐 너간지 라이렉 당시 자치 이제서야 돼 당가랑 저 샬림 파포 론잠벨린 너 발란주 상 드라미니 그 자치 레이제 다 늘라 쭈룩 나니 아니 라서 반도 감지 라이 렉톡 당시 아니 조칸네리 큐브들라서 봐 조칸네리 큐브들 내 레이지든 셰쇼 마고 하셨다 때 레이지든 셰쇼나 뺀 여보 착사리 근데 있잖아요 레이지든 셰쇼고 말이 근데 세 조칸네 따따 강따 장가랑 숨주 작성고 라이 bên chỉ tăng ở đang trong cảm xúc khó thì là để bất kham chỉ tăng rồi
Zukam,
tham
Zumekam.
ta thì để khi kiến thức chỉ giảm nó kiến thức chán được cái đấy yang Quran cho nó tập đề án ra chỉ cái này chỉ long on chả lẽ ngã chú xe được cha này bình thường chỉ là bao cái xe được năng cái mong ở đang trong cái bản thân xe giáo anh chỉ tin bất cập cái level 지 다가르스 그 로원 초랍다 아니세지 랩든다 로펀 소든데 스코트 상가신 동사라 요 말이 켈링 요 말와 다데 간데지 리시자고나 도 간수 미 감지 땅데 리시에게 요리 어디니 이데 잔데 다 주감제 라리 킵된다 좀미 발라이 레이라서 반지틴데 소와네 다 스코트 아니 담비 추고 용틴데 소와레 미시 어디 송고 요리
So with regard to the next one, since Tibetan Dharma comes primarily from India, there are sometimes correlations between Indian culture and Tibetan culture, which you can see some here. In India, there were this system of the caste system of warriors, Brahmins, merchants, householders, servant caste, and so on. These particular, terms and didn't really exist in Tibet, but along those lines, similar to that, there were kings, there were human monarchs, there were Brahmins, those who were dedicated to spiritual practice, Augustinians of householders. So these refer to some of the higher castes or the higher families of beings in which there's more facilities and more opportunity for the practice of Dharma. Then there's the 6 types of gods of the desire realm, such as the 4 great kings. Those 4 great kings are in the 4 directions. Vaishravana of the north, Mingmingzang, one with not pleasant sight in the west, Shar in the east. Remember, I mentioned the names of all these four great kings, which we can. I'll add to the notes. But these are the four among the six types of gods of the desire realm. In general, there's these three realms that are spoken of: the desire realm, form realm, and formless realms. In the form realm, there's the 17 types of gods. If we went into all of those, it would get pretty, complicated. Basically, there's the realm of Indras, what's called the heaven of the 33, where there's all these different types of gods, and then in the formless realm, four types of gods, which Rinpoche mentioned, the types of faculties that they have in the notes: the limitless space, limitless consciousness, nothing at all, and faculties of no perception. So these types of existences in the upper realms of samsara are also attained, through the practice of genuine Dharma, although those are ultimate goals.
Tati di korte shibchate shiyala ke chimboti tende rimendo ndu sitando. Tenji mini shigoya si tende rimendo. Tande kare sheke yori
So,
shibchane.
so the details of this particular one are not that important for us.
Tande kare sheke yori shibchane. Tusa tunjo chila she yawa ina nga cha hakoda. Tusa tunjo la she wa ina ale jachin jetang duhla tusu kor shu selikin rewe rewe. Tambe chula tine yarbo chimbilila jesongwa. Shalun papa lon zambalina balanju sangdamani jachin yin korda topa yonzo te any tambe chugil tandi nani katsu cheka yorisiden katsu kare cheka yorisiden di nani tambe chugin rewe tambe chugin pinyong tingi yora tambe chugin pinyong tingi di rewe seyo na yaman ngon tomdoya ale kare ina samsang yora tandi tuisa tunjo la sheko pe na ngin song sun la maa tu na nyarwa la tu yeda la tu tunro la tu teni mi nangni yang ani manik tang ani tinho tang tende ke pa nyamtha tende la ma tu wa ina ani tambe chudulu ki chachi tambe chudulu ki tunchi me wa yin de chane tambe chu kan rewe de long chu thugu yo ma re si tan di korte te sa ya kare se kore chi nerin thoa ke ne tende chi de chane mai chi shu de la ani pinzi gewe phang ne zozi gewe zo se an chi yang 같이 핀조 시케게 요리 주 데벨라티네 주 given 데벨라티네 데벨야 게와 용하다 피지 게웬 방와도 조지 게웨 족바 피지 득변 방네 조지 야 게웨 족바라서 버티는 방법이야 요리 다 강다장 든디치게 레라티네 네캅직라 뚜사 뚠조라 니송라 마트와 이나 띵호다 냠타다 들리지긴 송송나 마트가 있나 코랑솔라 내갑질라 다다사키게 대와 유가 인도자니 뭐마 코랑즈 게벤 데베사 야리 딘니 박 다다사 대와 유도자니 대양 아니 담비추글라마 딘니 소와레 송거요 다디 지용고 돈이 고아다 하고 와이나 르리 인데 장가다 투슈코데 시고요 말다데.
So rather than listing, the details of all these 17 types of gods and so on, the more important thing is for us to understand the main point. And it's a relative factor that's being pointed out here, that, if living beings are born in lower realms of samsara, in hells and spirit realms and animal realms, and they have much more limited or inability to practice Dharma. And if they were to practice some kind of virtue, if they were to engage in some kind of virtue, and then from there be able to attain better states within samsara, then they would have opportunity to practice Dharma. So that the opportunity to create some positive karma, whereby they could take more fortunate rebirth and practice. The Dharma comes about through contact with Dharma and the practice of Dharma. That's how one creates the causes for these better states even within the human realm. You know, if we're born in the human realm in great deprivation and a place of violence, or very sick, or with a low station, it can be difficult to have the opportunity to practice Dharma. So, so the important thing to understand here is, you know, what would these such, you know, taking birth as say one of the four great kings in the God realm, you know, what would this have to do with Dharma? And this is the point that, you know, through attainment of the higher states in samsara, then it's possible to practice Dharma. That comes about through the practice of virtue, which comes about through the contact and the practice of Dharma.
Olas, that Sumbatek, Yundu Shupata, Linji Serawata, Simawata, Dajumbata, Ransanjita, Number Tamji, Sanjinji, Tindusunshin, Joanne, Number Chuji Yundi and Osi. That day, Kechimbodaji, this is some of Dansa Uji, Sumbana, the Doa, the Bena, Karzange, Chimbaching as a tiro, long eye in the shitching. Shouldn't chimp the tingo on a minamish. Solam, Jolam, Tolam, Gomlam, Malhopalams, long article in the shing and chimbach deer. Tea long argan and Solam, Jolam, Gomlam Naganani. Madame Sola, Jolam Ganani. Jolam Ganantini, Lam Yiba, Jolam Ganantini Mara, any Karesungu Uricity, Jolam Ganasi de la, any Dru, Zemo, Zuba. Chumcho sin yakata here you want to Zemo Zuba Chumchosi, your Lankanantini. Tea to Zemo Zuba Chumchosiat, and Dili Dini Yogi, Jun the Shupata, Linji Seronwata, Sermon Wata, Drachomba Siate, then Dinani, Jun the Shupasiate, Jolankanani, Tambu Yonti, Drew de la Pechawa Kashi, Tuntakashi Ganani, truly Yaki. 가시게 둘이 약이요 말이야 춤쇼라 야니요리 다 강다장 지발만도 둘이 야나 윤도 쇼바다 렌지 새로운 왔다 설모 왔다 라좀바 예데 아니 배자 mambo지게 나네 두 제모 즈바 춤쇼 디제 토라 윤도 쇼바다 둘이 야 렌지 새로운 왔다 두 제모라 야 설모 왔다 두 제모 즈발라 야 라좀바다 춤쇼라 야 배자 가시게 나네 들으시 가시그나니 윤도 쇼바다 린지 성와 서모와 숨데 르 제모 즈바 춤초 예르야 드라종바데 아니 파치 밀람 곰람 파치 밀람 다 윤도 곰람 파치 밀람 디토르 야게 신소아
톤람 파치 톤람 파치 밀람
톤람 토요 말다 곰람을 잡고라 다디 데리 유욕 린지 성서모 다데 띵고 녀보도 시고만도 다데 예들 야얀드도 윤도 쇼바데 즈발에 야 린지 성와데 디 루테모 즈바 춤초 예들라 윤도 쇼바 린지 성와 서모와 다좀바 예드 디드는 야야나 다다 게록바게 시당을 양 만다와지 시거든 데다데 시고
그냥 jorlam기 슈글라 톤람 용거봐
레레 데다데 시고야만도 세계 왕의 담보 소람 졸라 아니 졸라 값이 아니 지니 네 돌람 용어로 와 돌람 받지 밀라서 시야면도 게로그 다다 빼차 카시에 나는데 뺀고 녀보던데 시에요 다 강다장 윤도 쇼바데 즈발에 야 린체 소마데 드르 야 윤도 쇼바데 드 제모 즈바 춤초데 윤도 쇼바 린체 소마 서모와 솜나자 대 갈때니 약거를 치도 소람 졸랑게 람니바크 나니 어느 디제도 되는지 약이 있어. 어떤데서 나한테 인투다 란자라서 봐. 락바도 인투 밖에 나랑서 신의 고네. 다 something 고네. 대신에 값을 또 받지야. so called shake that need to back that took what me back to town and the mambo yuri. Mumbanzo that is in a mambo yuri.
Then this, with regards to this next one, the presence and arising in the world of stream enterers, once returners, non-returners, arhats, pratyeka Buddhas, and utterly omniscient Buddhas as the quality of genuine Dharma. Relating these first four to the Mahayana path, and something that I've mentioned before, there's the five paths, those five paths of accumulation, preparation, or joining, path of seeing, path of meditation, and the path of no more learning. When these terms, which are usually referred to Hinayana levels of realization, are applied to these five paths, there are many texts which say that these correspond to the four levels of that second path, the path of preparation, where stream enters. Well, those four stages of the path of preparation are called heat, peak, forbearance, and supreme Dharma. And that the first one, the stream enterer, would relate to the first level of that, the heat, once returners to the second level, the peak, non-returners to the third level of forbearance, and arhats to the last level of supreme Dharma. Some some texts don't say it the same way. They'll say that this arhatship then relates to the next path, the path of seeing, or Shay mentioned the path, the uninterrupted path of the path of meditation, which means the meditation on emptiness, which is leading into the realization of the path of meditation. But then arhats, these terms, pratyeka Buddhas, usually do refer to realizations of the Hinayana path. So they're talking about that. And then finally, fully omniscient Buddhas, realization of full enlightenment in the Mahayana path. These are qualities of genuine Dharma. So some texts make it there's very complex explanations, for instance, in the Gelug tradition, but we don't need to make it real complicated here.
Tandinani doing omade dodo the karishik yuri sitzane, tambichuk yuntin latine, any solam latine, jolam toya yuri, jolam latine true, zemozubalas batoya yuri. And it drew Tobaina to Togni Song Dong Siateke, Siyonga Dang, Simyonga Siateke, Koala Yasin Pin and Koala Mancha Magua Kitchik Yuditani, or Dick or the Sam of Diana Kitchenbury. Mato Tanka Dang now that the Kare, Natil and Drakare on Asaba, de Marin Dinani, that Tambichuk langue Yuntin Latine, Rangi Jula, and in Haka Caps shape, Lang Akatobachia, Doi Caps shape, subject. 사람과 연대 참 드려요. 다때 가르게 연구 요리 시대잖아요. 담배 추가 람라 띠네. 담배 추가 연대리 있어야. 다때 하고 요리.
So rather than all the details, the important things for us to understand here is that through the practice of Dharma, we can enter into the path. And when we speak about once returners or non-returners, it's talking about whether someone has to return to samsara or not. If they have to return to samsara one more time, or if they've reached a state where they will not have to return to enter into a samsaric existence again, as a non-returner, or arhat, a fully liberated being, a foe destroyer, and so on. That these practices, that these come through the practice of Dharma, in the context of Tantra, passing through the five paths, in the context of Sutra, passing through the 10 stages of the Arya Bodhisattvas, that these levels of realization are attained through the practice of Dharma. That's the main thing for us to understand here.
Ni jiba de la simji da mulam je top ji tuji ran charje zukuni je jipsin ko ma dong ko ba da simji to lulub de jowana ta ba chuji de no si simji da mulam so ne dan de na ni simji siya de dan de na ni simji siya de ni dongdan simji la dongdan simji dongni la jar ko ari ja sim지 세야되게 탑지 시랍이 그 차듯이 몰람 세야지 그 탑지 차듯이 탑다 시랍이 방금 법발을 이렇게 숨바나지 기관 내 지워고 수나위시 초사대 수나위시 내서와 수나위시 초사대 세야되게 몰람지 돕듯이 탑지 차듯이와 수나위시 내서와 세야되게 심지가 차듯이 심지 세야돼 돈단 심지를 제인도 전에 돈단 심지를 돈이 그 따와 차쳐야 돼요. 근데 이제 전에 그 돈이 그 따와 대당 시라고 차 아니 몰람지 차 사기 geb서 그 차, 몰람 그 차. 대니게 줄라 뛰네 제베데 아니 zukun이지. 휴거다 zukun이. 휴주거다 zu주거. 대니든 제베데 용거 있어. 기생 고아 마동 거 바로 심지 그 돌 매매 흘름된 요와대양 담배 주고 요들이 어떤지
The rising of spontaneous benefit of sentient beings by the two form bodies, self-arisen compassion, until samsara is emptied, due to the power of bodhicitta and aspirations, is a quality of genuine Dharma. So the reference to bodhicitta and aspirations here is a reference to wisdom and methods. As Nagarjuna said, may living beings attain enlightenment through the accomplishment of the two accumulations, so of merit and wisdom. So here bodhicitta is referring to the wisdom side here. If you think of ultimate bodhicitta, that's an insight into selflessness. Whereas aspirations or prayers relates more to the relative side of virtue, the side of creating merit or methods. So this union of method and wisdom is how enlightenment is attained, and in particular the two form bodies arising from the methods that are practiced in conjunction with the wisdom. And then the result of these form bodies being immortal until the end of samsara, bringing benefit to living beings. All of these arise from the qualities of Dharma.
출랑 컴퓨터인데 그 게임의 작은 도와에 차시는 저대대대가
그리고 마슈가 이강을 샷어.
야야 아니 ngabaade ke simji niwan soba yobse ganga gangwe ban pusong soba tamche ne sanchok simba namje hula le sowe dambe chuje yongdi yino ade yunjok nani haja mambo song yunjok dang umarin chingchungwa dang tsuko nani ngaranju dada ne desa cheta ngaranju sakye ke dewa thana takare sakri nima 중보지 샤르 카세 진보지라와 타츠주도 요소 좁바데 뭐마 산지다 산치스 반남지 몰랑가 똑게 디진의 띠네 nga랑 솔라타다 라데와치 어떤지 망보지 소유 어디에 있잖아요 심지 예와는 초와 요새 강라 강오바 부som 초바 탐치네 산치스 반남지 몰랑가 똑다 뭐마 몰람 터진보 망보지 답야리 디 톱당 디 딘바다 디 주당 딘 레벨 디 줄라티니 소와추리 어드레시야
Since all excellent means of sustaining sentient beings appropriately arise to the power of the aspirations of bodhisattvas, these are qualities of genuine Dharma. So these many different ways that beings are sustained come about through the many types of prayers that bodhisattvas make.
Lo lo so, junjuk dang si. Any Vermari Chintingwa Lao, Sopani Mambo, Mambo Song Yuri, Sing Goser. Goes away.
So there are many examples of these prayers that are given in the Shantadeva's Guide to the Bodhisattva Conduct and the Precious Garland of the Middle Way. So there are many prayers that are examples of the prayers being referred to here.
Lasso, Tatinani, long jig at Tana Samba. Junjuk Nani, Dan and Gumi, Namjingung, Lamjuk Namji Tratang, Gandu Namji Samba Tang, Lingduni la Lingtang, Marmendula, Marmeta, Nemandula, Nemata, Dan and Yen, 2 years, Seata, Yang Yugotini. 사선 용화 침보다 나화이다 딱발이야 심지 빠드메 바에 남만년 주지량 효시 어다든데 이디잖아 빼나 랑화란 rol이 값스 람란 rol이 값스 된데 대부 남친도니 된들랑 아주 효시 고메 바 잡메 바 남라 아니 고다 잡도 아주 효시 타나 징 된데 추오베 닝지오 아니 텔라 삼바 Only data dena yi any sadang, chudang, medang, lungla supa. Junga yi simchi don't look good than any dina yi sin any neatina yi on Hosuna. Molam to the mamboji dump down yuri. And do this in a area.
So Rinpoche quoted a prayer from the Shantadeva's Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, a prayer to the effect of, where beings lack a guide or a leader, may I become that guide, that leader. Where beings lack a protector, may I become that protector. If there is a bridge that's needed, over a river, may I become that beautiful bridge. If the elements are of use to living beings, the earth, water, fire, and air, whenever that is the case, may I be those elements that can support and be used by sentient beings. So these are the kinds of prayers that bodhisattvas make, which result in the sustaining the welfare of sentient beings.
That's all. Any to body, any song them combat nena young. Nekap dewa chung se yo ba de da tham ji chang ka bo give sona la to be tambe chu chu yon de yen os ta de la pe nang lao.
Since the slight brief happiness that is experienced in lower migrations and unrestful states is due to the merit of virtuous actions, this is a quality of genuine Dharma.
Ta ngi song sum nya ba ye da tun ro ta de la lo ju xie yo ma ani san da cha tun ba cha cha ba ani le ta pu ji wa ngap ja ta ma da ba ji wa ngap ja ji ba kap sa ma da ba ji wa ngap ja ji ne ani khorang ge da de ji ge ma da ba ji wa ngap ja ji kap sa ta de le lo ji ma bo xie yo ta de do de xie wa yi na ani kap de khorang ka ama ka go la dong ja ji khorang ja ke chong bong ji ge bai la ji wa ji ani part noveli na do yo wa ta wa le noveli na do de ja ne any park 가르치나 베티나 이시고도 아니 된대치네 고랑한 노벨리는 로그인시다 아니 아마가 어다 추랑 노벨리는 짱이 만도시 간이시네 추랑 빨라 아니 노벨리는 송네 아니 노벨 말롱아 치네 아니 점치나나 틈네 아니 셔송이시 추랑 된대 연거리 추랑 짱이 만도시디 아니 고랑 그 짱이 많이오네 버데가 나 인지 미니 로그인시 대가 파일레가 와시 와 신나이 시리시 아니 나가 뭐 파크 가래 지나 버거티 레가데 슈르지네 데 레거도 아니 로게 이제데 아니 아마 응원의 끝이 만로신 테메랑 아니 강반 타네도 하더라 아니 고랑 그 아문 골 동자 주리도 하더라 산지 좀 되는데다 레 마다베 지와 시가 고랑 그 아마 골 동자 주 아니 고랑 롱랑는 로레 롱랑는 로데 값이 아니 고랑 던데 시 레가 왕게 아니 잠소나네 노벨 말롱아시 Any long shit, any door, and the same, any shinglip chill and juna. Any Jamson and Sakante, any linking chimbo to the chilla, link to the mambo chilla level. That is a call mambo shia, that is Koragama gave us a yalin David captain means mambo shia. McGavin Davis upon mambo means logic mambo shia. That don't the Vishina, any Koranyawala, Yawala soon color, the Koranyawa Tony. Yawal and Tone, any thing Yawaga Karesigori, Jack Tolong, Koranka Lebat, Tilson, and the descent, Zin, the descent, Koran say, or say Rosset, the descent. And a Korangan Huma Gewa, Korangan Huma, Mayon Gewa Mambo, Sayality, Gewa to captain the Koran 13. Tangatration is chicken do, Tapaching a lepachatar, Tassari, Koragan Huma Gewa the teen, the Taniki given Nipatil Tine. Gang Chimbateni, Troarchuchi, Gang Provatini, Chimbarchuchi, Sen, and Naukani, Datana, and the Korante Shamagoa Chata. Dunghai Mambonia Magoa Chat. The Dunghai Mambonia Magoa Karachari, Siditani, Dina Sondoa, Nin Song Sum la Chena Yang, Neka Bewachi Yuris. Neka Bewate, Mumatambi Chuka Lamla Tine, give us a Yalitin Devateke, the Jew taken Devat and Younger Yuris. The song to that did the logic you samba. Mansoe.
Oh, that's it. Okay, so to tell a story about this, there are these Jataka tales, the birth stories of the future Buddha, in which there are 500 births described in fortunate conditions and good environments, and then there are 500 births or lives that he took in unfortunate lower realms of existence. So among those latter ones, there was a story of the future Buddha when he was the son of a sea captain in India, and this captain would go into the ocean and seek for precious jewels, and and so in India it was the custom that a son would take up the vocation of his father, and so his mother said, "No, please don't do this. Your father, he drowned, he died in this endeavor out in the ocean seeking jewels, and if you do that, the same thing's going to happen to you." But the future Buddha at that point hid his mother and said, "No, I have to go. Even if I die, that's okay. I have to do this." So he hid his mother and left. And his mother warned, the same thing's going to happen to you. Anyway, so he got out into the ocean. He didn't find any jewels, the result of this negative karma that he'd created. His boat broke to pieces. He was thrown into the ocean. He was drowning. He came upon an island. And the story was that he came upon a hellish kind of realm there. He saw things that would happen to himself in terms of his head, his brain being picked out and stuff, from the negative karma that he created. But he'd also created a lot of positive karma. And there was a voice that came from the sky. Rinpoche, sonde tsigare songbare, namkane.
Gang Chimbateni, Troarchuchi. Gang Troateni, any Chimbarchuchis. Oh, then the song.
So the voice,
and the Damja.
the voice from the sky said, "Those who are bound will be freed. Those who are freed will be bound." So I was talking about, the nature of karma and samsara. But in hearing these words, it was a remnant of some dharma or some positive action that the future Buddha had created. And so he didn't have to go into that hellish realm and experience that. He was freed from that suffering. And so this is an example of when beings are in lower realms of existence and they have some relief or some happiness or some relative happiness that comes in that realm of existence, that also is a result of having practiced some virtue as a result of practicing Dharma.
That's all. 아니 강따르잔디나니 가레 하고 거리시디잖아. 나랑도 낭바인시 시키. 낭바세야 되게 아니 주무마 개와이나야다 개와이나데 무마 파수네 아니 데베다다 처용되와 진가지. 나다 나랑지 뭐 코랑게치 초나나 멀 다지 멀 만다와 카시 남의 찍나니 마창 찍나니 남을라양 카시라베 람도야 보족대와 아마 찍그 파마 찍바인데라 카시라 람도야 보족 내가 야보리 아니 내 나차메 치용대와 카시라 딱 카시라 강한 체대야 다티스 코치 요 가래 용거리 시티잖니 요 무만 메게와다 게와니라 띠네 데베타다 강하데 용대게 요리시 데인저 임바 송장 니 송솜당 아니 내가 뭐 콤벌 라서버들라야 대화 중세 요 대화때 곧 내사 뭐 콤벌네 니 송솜라 내대오나 내가 대화 하자 동안 치보메 대화 내가 대화지 요 대화때 아니 담배 추고 라나 띠네 요와리 있어야 다 된대 하고 그
So in particular, as practitioners of Buddha's teachings, we have a conviction in a natural law of cause and effect that, that harmful actions, negative actions will result in suffering, and positive actions, virtuous actions, have the result of happiness, and that these are previously created karma, actions that we did that give rise to the experiences that we have, and we can see signs of this in the varieties of living beings. How there's so many different kinds of living beings with their own aptitudes and interests and everything so different. Even in a single family where there's the same environment from the parents, children can have very different experiences. One might be very healthy and successful in their life, but another one, always sick and never being able to accomplish things. We can see these kinds of differences even in a single family. And so our explanation as Buddhist practitioners is that this is the result of karma, of actions of those individual beings in the past, and so, when someone is in a lower realm of existence and has a little bit of relief, or they're in one of the states of human existence which are not free to practice Dharma, but then they have some experience of relief or happiness, these even temporary states of happiness are due to some kind of virtuous action practice performed in the past with the guidance of Dharma.
Yeah. 다들 듬바데 지금 님바 다장 담배 추서 론존네 지금 담배렉스 내신 먹군지 쪽도 걸어 내서 줘봐네 담배 추지요 되노시 다되게 체도라 지금 님바인바 체메라 아니 라마 잠보트 느질란 테네 아니 추바차소와 체도 드긴데 드과세데니 드긴데 체메라 아니 발람지라 라마야 보진 체 아니 담배 추냐미세 준두세네 아니 추바차소와 빼네 집주 밀라레발 빼야더리도와 집주 밀라레바 그 담보 하자드 받침 뭐지 싸라와 말씀치 송아타마 세리 고랑 랑케 임팡 그 치드 시랑 그 왕가 세라와 양 추바차네 고랑 추바차 차드 드라비 싱쩌세네 양 근데시네 똑바가 토니 근데시네 양 직세야 요리 디골 말이 네 값을 거서 소수 기위 값을 코랑 아마라 착바지 아마라 차 코랑 그 낭당 코랑 그 사행당 강바당 남의 용조 르당 마타바지네 아니 아커다 안에 니를 시당지네 하자 득받침 뭐지 싸라 다 체이도를 근데 득받사 야와데 아니 유바 침보지 제네 유바 하자 침보지 제데 자네 아니 담배 취랑네 쇼 라마 체딘체 나와 체다 데바지 슈 아니 코랑라 뻬마스 쭌드 침보 뻬마스 인쇼 침보 뉴르 침보이데 자네 디 람라 띠네 Sin delesa yali matasum songa dikpa dajuda pa yadi jiwane tomilesa yali yonzo dikta chasangte lutin di tolo dane ene kechini la sangye songa ta jipsi Milarepa pechi yawa yinan de na ta derisha.
When a bad person's mind turns to genuine Dharma and he or she becomes a holy person respected by everyone, this is a quality of genuine Dharma. So we can think of the example of Milarepa here, where in the early part of his life, he acted very badly, out of attachment to his mother and their possessions, being taken by his uncle. It was out of anger that he used black magic to kill 35 people and wreak a lot of destruction. This is not talking about, later on when he was able to do miracles once he had attained enlightenment. But, but like in this example, his mind turned to genuine Dharma. So if a person in the early part of their life is very bad, but then later on they meet with a qualified guru who guides them into the Dharma. And in the case of Milarepa, having received those instructions, then he practiced them with great courage and perseverance to purify not only that tremendous negativity that he had created in his current life, but all of the negativity from all of his previous lives he was able to purify through his practice of Dharma and attain complete purification, complete enlightenment. So this kind of transformation of a person is the quality of genuine Dharma.
Yeah. Any jiba de mara dikpa makewala pami de jeje nyabe bishin josoba de yang dambe chuju soso longtan june pori da tarbe dewala de kwan jowane dambe chuju yonde yenos da deni chibare ya de chibare ya.
When someone who by carelessly engaging in wrongdoing has amassed the causes to become fuel for the fires of hell, turns his her mind to genuine Dharma and achieves the happiness of higher states and liberation, this is the quality of genuine Dharma. So this is getting to exactly the same point as the previous one.
So, any goba de dambe chula deba zama miba zama gawa zama chalong jimba zangyang kunji yide ongshi nigo ji nesu jubane dambe chuji yonde yenos.
The delight and respect that all feel for someone who merely has faith in genuine Dharma, or interest in it, or liking for it, or merely retains the costume of it, is a quality of genuine Dharma.
Tandi nani karishe kersin nyungtala seyanda chiri. Shuba chedinchi che magwari. Dambe chula miba deba zamam si deba sina ochapsun che tandi yabondo samba cheke deba zamam. Eni degana ji yang miba zama tate tandi yabondo nge chikondo samba cheke gesemchi chi ya de zam. Eni semni gawa chi ya gawa zama. Chalong ziba zamsi. Eni dambe chuka lana tena nga namba chiki insi ya chi nambe chi. Ta kareso chuka juya la soba chalong ziba zam kare che na yanda kadowa. Kunji ido ongshi tanda chike tanda chi sewa deyang eni dambe chuka korang ta kareso kore juya la tene dewa tanda chi yoko yori yesi.
So this line is talking about the least level of interest or connection with Dharma, merely has faith in genuine Dharma. If somebody even just thinks, oh, that's wonderful, my goodness, or if they think or interest in it, oh, that would be nice to do, or they have some liking for it, or even if they have some feeling that they need to put on a robe or some kind of costume that relates to Dharma, even these slight movements, towards Dharma at the least level, are results of genuine Dharma practice. Some positive result there.
Jubadek, any dopumubo tamji, pangne, chimney chimiba, rabda sonshi, retu gumbara yim the dejang, sowe, yobse, pusum choban joane, dambe chuji yonde yenos.
The rising of abundant means of sustenance for those who abandon all possessions and leaving home, becoming homeless and hide away in isolated hermitages is a quality of genuine Dharma.
Tandinani kare tingi yuri situ tani, ngune sena ngarangchu chimnin chimmi pa rabda song seyade, chimpang seyade, senku tingni chakpa jesade, shimba jesade, pangne, tele lasa jike sacha jilan rongwari doa, pena ngarangchu ina tawa situ chimne, chimmi pa la rabda song situ, ngaga namade pa yungne, 남들의 착바지게 유리자니 착바 메지에서 들에 라스질은 로그 인시도 아 근데지 삼노탄 거 유리 또 이내 등상 아주 합도 송세도 자데 다가신 침치 방네 양 가장대 양 직송도아 되다네 침총 방네 침치송 침충충의 파방 아니 곰바래 요거 요시도 곰바나라 저 쇼차데 아니 곰바딘 침치 보지세 아니 야 때라 착바시 때라 즈바시 때라 라마다시 아니 말아 제다 더보르 보치 송도 가장 공리 송송아 침충충의 파방은 침침보디 나네 영양 침침보디를 착바지가 있어 근데 송도 근데 마이 반디나니 침니 침미 바랍도 송세도 랑기 침도 파 용도는 침 자완이는 미사 다 포지가 나는데 숙강 미사적 집 말아래 받아 들으지와 침 용도의 파 용도 다 포지가 나는데 침장이 요 말아 어떤데 인도 전에 된대식 대화 있나양 아니 딱 가야 요 말에 참아 요 야와 칼라 요 말이 사마 요 말이 도로 요 말에 가요 말때 이나양 갑대도 소부 옆세 무슨 소바 차바바와 나지 코랑라 강대와 나지 용대와 대양 아니 담배 추가가래 마치 벽 담배라 추바 릴야나 추바 ren고를 되나 신공 지는데 시 담배지 다들 가르치 줘고나 추바 ren고를 되나 빠 너도 던데 시리니 ያን 딘 그리시 때문에 남주에나 리강이 만 딘도 그러와 제가 리강을 되나 추바 리강 되나 빠 너도 던데 시 공부도 얀 딘 그리시 아 간다 저 추바 뭐에게 시네 추바라 칼라가 사제 메야다 주노그 퐁데리 던데 연거 말이 시대 추가된 이송아
So, in this abandonment of all possessions and leaving home, this going from the family or the householder's state to the homeless state, or taking ordination, how it's referred to, should mean, leaving the attachment to the household, to the family, and going into a state of non-attachment. Sometimes what it becomes these days is people leave their little home and they go into a big home, because the monastery, if they're taking ordination as a monk, going into the monastery is a huge place, and so they can substitute attachment for the family and the household that they had before for attachment to this big monastery and the situation there and getting all kinds of intrigues. That's not what we talk about, what we mean here. We mean more like what Milarepa did, leaving the household, leaving the attachment, cutting attachment to the family and going into a real homeless state, going to live in a cave, being completely without a household. And when a practitioner does that, it would seem that they're moving into a state of deprivation. They have nothing, but somehow their needs are provided for, as if just raining down on them. Why does this happen? Because of great merit that's there to support that Dharma practice, even though they've given up their attachment. There's this saying in Tibetan that if the great meditator doesn't come down the hill, noodles may well roll up to them. So their needs will be provided for.
Good job, Samba.
Lotus.
Oh yeah. 다 되게 될 야욕이 되는 담배 취주용데 너도 취주인 어시텔자 아니 다 되는 저와 카시지 링기 다 되는 저와 링 유마텔라 저와 링기 되는 다 유마니칼 고가비오 지란설 저와 다니오나 아니 나티시지니 아니 슬로치로 로고 요아테 수시라메 아니 되는 저와 링기 유마텔라 저와 링기
Okay, so I don't have much time today. I know we said we'd have take time for some questions, but if we could perhaps take.
Yes, we have a question and answer today. I don't have time too much, but also we have next Saturday. I give to you the answer and the questions today also. If you have any questions today, the teaching, or last Saturday, 2 Saturdays, the teaching, any questions?
If there's any questions at this point from this or last session, then please ask them, but we don't have much time.
Kandi kyuchi gyoguchi shue la tarin gi tambe chue gi ande chudanane sumba dirumbuche tanda chue zemo soba checho sonso di chue gu cho la idra
Low.
La serumbuche la second grinchela.
Yeah.
That was just a quick clarification about the names of those 4 levels of the path of preparation.
I'm sorry.
So there doesn't seem to be any questions.
Can you repeat the 4 levels of the path of preparation?
Rinpoche deso.
Ale, Ru, Semo, Zuba, Chumcho say at the Chucho the Juba. Great Dharma, Karasaganada.
So those are heat, peak, P-E-A-K, forbearance or patience, and supreme Dharma, the supreme Dharma within samsara.
That's all.
Ask what heat and peak. Can you expand upon what those mean? They're English words that I suspect mean something different. It's kind
Lasso true say at the Bena ta going to Sijani Caps, that true the true round he say at what true say at the going to Sijam de Caps, similar Devatang, similar Salvatang, any similar Matopa, Desan Matopa, Yam La Supatang, the desert levy at the la, and it true secretary, true say at the similar true leba secretary, the telesecretary true. Zemo say at the Zemo say at the true teleati.
Rinpoche did Tumbo di Sona.
No,
So that first level of heat or warmth actually is talking about your meditation kind of heating up, the qualities of of clarity, of bliss, non-conceptuality, coming stronger. So that's that first stage of heat. Lois?
Zemo say at the teleti sata drug nani yang, drew laya ramding tasum with the zane, drew korang layang, drew chung, drew ringbo, drew chimbo say a sum yuri, drew ganana. They did an true chimbo ganana yatzimo lem you tell it zemos.
Then peak refers to reaching a culmination of that. That first stage has a beginning, middle, and higher level. And when it reaches that higher level of the heat, then you reach the second stage, which is called peak, that peak experience of that.
And it Zupa say at the Chusilla Kapchik Zupa, Gypsum Milarepa the Shondoa, Gypsum Milarepa, and the Tapona like June. Tak up to the truth, say Mosunku you mar the Kona, Nyam Katsi, Yambana Topa Katsi, Torasuna, and it cup they do by Masi retreated and dog Tupa, and the Zupas, Chupsala Kapchik Zuba, Dungala Tanin Zuba, New Zealand Geminian Zuba. Tatangaran to Zu Siate, Zu Tukumadoa. Got did in the Zuba Konglum, in the Zuba Tama the Chick to Chane, Chick the Trin, and in Yamika Tola, and the Gawatan, Toatan, to the Yoya. All the day the Telan Zubas.
The next stage, called patience or forbearance, is such as the state that Milarepa attained, which is really a combination and the perfection of all the kinds of patience. Patience of non-retaliation, patience of persevering through hardship, the patience of focusing to focus on Dharma, all of these types of patience and forbearance reaching a culmination in which it's very spontaneous, easy, very joyful, and serene.
근데 춤초 세야데 다 람데네 시에요. 춤초 세야데 춤초도 줘봐데 삼미 비추 람제 데마당 고부 데마 고부 데마나니 다저 제모즈바 춤초 디송그나니 졸랑그나니와 단 춤초도 줘봐데 가왈레고 요리시데 춤초도 줘봐데 통람 춘이 그 데마 통로세네 곰람나네 양로로 시에데잖아요. 춤초도 줘봐래 춤초도 줘봐세야데 고딘다 람딘이나니 덴바 이제그나니 타마그나니 딘지마다 주룩 시네 시에게 유드다니 타마그나니 나가랑서 마가 값이 시에나 곰미 세안다 지시게 요로와 다 곰미 다이차서 말이때 단 통람 춘이 그 덴바라 야 렙도 차네 엔디자네 아니 메인라 춘초도 줘 봐시 따르이시 다 되된 고딘다 람딘이들.
So then the final stage of supreme Dharma, which would really refer to the realization that comes in the path of seeing. And so at this point, you're on the verge of that. You're on the verge of that supreme Dharma, the path of seeing, which in tantric terms would refer to reaching an approximation of that no meditation, in Mahamudra. So in any case, that supreme Dharma refers to the true paths and true cessations, which one is on the verge of attaining at that fourth stage of the path of preparation. So it's referred to as the supreme Dharma.
라소 라소 네 드랭텔란 참자긴 다 드랭 내치 넘발라 사다지 당 아촌들라 뭐 처만 좀 차이요와 좀 차이되잖아요. 사다시에요. 단 참인 친이들이 가장 기홍 띵나하 베트남이슬라마 다 코란 가장 공로 급죽할 지조로와 아니 공정이야. 아니 앞에 심판성에 땡징기 기회 땡르진 잠블레나니 매발 차와이나 산지 그때 발 하자 정치 뭐라 그요. 저당 콩그 살에 그때 바데 진 잠블레나 락바든 소발라 하장 핀도 침보지 송와들 린도와 다 공패야데 콩 아주 몇셔서 아카세야 뒤측도 말이 아카 닌지세야 등 아랑조 슐르르데리 심진 탐지라 단 됐다베치 그 드랭그 담배 추고 용디 시에고와이나 뭐네 담배 추고 용디 차상 요대와 그 간사지 드랭 잠벨랭간이 라송와리 마소라 아카세야데 시송교대 남주 아카 고 동소시 파한저거 저거도와 코랑 동우나 당부 신감당 코랑 지와 지만 됐다 코랑 그 살에도 문트더니 다 랍친게 같은데 지 난거리 그런가 대som 가심티가 고마도 이네 잠벨랭간이다 드랭가지 빼 마시 땡징기 기회 침보지 그 같이 당는 전에다 빼 드르리 야데 빼 심바를 줘서 가장 제가 공로다 급격하라 급격하가 정도와 하장 땡징기 기회 침보지 라바는 소발라 빼 핀도 침보지 라마지리야 아니 제 지난번에 투르야로 지시셔야
So there's something I want to mention to you since we're all gathered here, and you may already know about this, but the great Master Thich Nhat Hanh has passed away at the age of 90, and it is a great loss for our Dharma community of the world. When we express grief at the passing of someone, then it seems that grief is expressed towards that person who passed, but in this case, that's not really appropriate, because being such a great being, holder of the Dharma, there's no doubt that he, is moving on to Pure Lands and continuing with very holy, sacred work of spreading Dharma. And the loss is to the world, our world. To lose such a master is really a very significant loss to our world, and so I'm quite saddened by that today.
나소 아니 다 대인데 전에 들은 거 같이 추튼 그 개버 자와대 들은 게 추튼 그 개버 자와대 당 아니 지난주 때도 냠데 성거사 이야기 개버 자와 강요 받대 아니 들은 게 라마 띵나하 공조 그 치드 당 아니 다다 샤 유진바 아니 공사 장고 자와 입진나와 샤띵 그 치당 라마 띵나하라 공조 야와 입신노 쪼르세바 정고 입신노 쪼르세바 아니 그 땡징이 기와 강나 수유바 때나 아니 그치 까바 요를 보지나 땡비치다 내가 자와데 던지시나마 무쇼 싱에마 몰람되고.
So in our prayers now, let's dedicate the positive energy from this and all positive energy created through the past, present, and future to the great masters. In case of Thich Nhat Hanh is passing, in case of masters like His Holiness the Dalai Lama continuing to live in our world, let's make the dedication prayer now.
Ande tsawe lama Rinpoche dagi jiworo peme dinshu la kadri chenpe kone jesone kuson toke hoju tse do so. Omso te ranjan kyamne gyatsu chinla dan denye tendre luwa mepe to kebara cheme tseye lazo Sewa yeshe chingchen tengdere po kege chenle karke kama pe kasu donga chazo menga ju ome suwe lamda nyamdo ke yunde tseka yetere shakdes kange sansom doje rangkam su lekwara tenche lungdo dambe ju Shiru tu sang gombe du de ye sa den gembe chinle tachin shu. Pande la me nambara tharba la kichi samya lokta mikesh. Chinze le kura thongwe megu ki la me chinla semla juba shu. Kewa kundu yangda lama tang jeme chuki pela longchuji Sata lamki yunde rabzo ne bade lame kopa nyuto shu.
O glorious and precious Root Guru, please take seat of lotus at my crown, caring for me in your great kindness. Please grant attainments of body, speech, and mind. Om Swati, may the blessings of infinite seas of our places of refuge, the force of the two truths' infallible interdependence, and especially the hosts of deities of immortal well-being, now rain down the magnificent splendor of their wisdom and power of longevity. The Lord of the dance of all victors, enlightened activity is Karmapa, your unquenchable thirst for the inner essence of his traditions, doctrines, of discourses, tantras, great seal, great perfection, and pith instructions, has brought the qualities of signs on the spiritual path, your experience and realization, to their full flowering. May your life be firm. May the wisdom mysteries of your body, speech, and mind be as perfectly firm as the Vajra's own immutable elements. May your gatherings of disciples who study and practice the sacred teachings of Scripture and realization by listening, contemplation, and meditation cover the earth. May your activity reach its ultimate consummation. May I never for an instant develop wrong views of the glorious Guru's life and deeds, but with devotion, seeing all they do as excellent, may the Guru's blessings enter my mind. In all lives, may I never be parted from qualified Gurus, enjoy glory of Dharma, and by perfecting qualities of the paths and stages, quickly attain the state of the glorious Guru.
Dashin simjin damji lo ju sendo wada sinji alabdo soho ju lamdo endo wada sinji alabdo soho landu basa wada sinji alabdo Tribai shi senja wada sinji alabdo so Dimbe pajur lama shabi din jinjiwe asadin yong la aja Dimbe jimda anga tang jo aji Dimba yong nebe rashi sho Gewande, Jiwo Sonam Yishi, Tosade, Sonam Yishi, Les Hommes, Nampaguni, Tobai, Sho. Lasso, Tuchi Nang Chama. 아니 산이 사바다시 산이 주 용거리다 주주 거다 새가 딱딱라 될 레고 요래니 지나다다 예수 그 초간에 요거에 church 되라 니들 토로 와 주 마지막이야 산이 주주 거다 새가 와 삼바 같이 이마 주주 거저 다잘 색다.
So there's the address that Rinpoche is going to be giving tomorrow at the Community of Spiritual Awakening at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Come.
And that address is also available online. It will be live streamed from the Center for Spiritual Awakening's website and their YouTube channel as well.
Okay. Thank you. Lasso Tuji Che Chama, Kaden Che Chama. Any happy what day is Saturday? Happy Saturday.